Okay, now it's time to do some detail work on the layout, and you will probably notice that I have filled in this bottom area here with some of the sand and grout mixture, and I've also tied in the quarry here with the tracks, but I figured those were minor enough changes that I could do those off camera. But now let's actually talk about putting some detail items in here. So let's get started. Okay, so the original plan for this scene was I was talking about how I'm probably going to set the crane up here on the hill, and I still have not decided either way, but one thing that comes to mind is there's really not a whole lot of room for a person, and putting it up here wouldn't make sense because once they start to dig into there, where does the crane go? So plan B that I came up with was actually to put the crane down here and actually have it kind of angled in a sense so it's over the dig face, and then they could just spin it to fill up a gondola car. So I'll probably set that up somewhere down by the buffer, but I actually want to do a specific video on the crane proper, talking a little bit about painting it, weathering it, and also setting it up with some kind of a bucket system. But I kind of figured I would still get you guys up to speed on that. Also, if you're interested, these are available in the Etsy shop. So with the crane taken care of for the moment, also known as we'll save that for later, let's actually talk about some other detail items. So this right here is one of my ON18, caboose cars that I decided would actually make a really, really cool shed for this scene. Now we have the windows on the end, and I have thought about manually cutting a window in the side here, but I also figured, you know what, this is more or less just a little storage shed, things like that, and it doesn't need anything super fancy. You'll also notice that I have wires running out the bottom, which means I have one of these super awesome warm white pre-wired and pre-resistored 12 volt LEDs that I bought off of Amazon. I think I got like 100 of them for like under $20, which when you really think about it, for the time and effort it would take to solder all these up with all the wire, it's just cheaper just to buy the pre-wired ones. And at the rate that I'm going building layouts, I probably have a couple years, if not more, worth of supply. I personally like the warm white ones. I figure it kind of gives a combo of an older incandescent bulb slash if you had like a lantern or something. So we have that. And also they will work on 9 volts, even I think down to about 5 volts. And I don't want to run the thing at full blast anyways, because we don't need a ton of light coming out. It's just cool to have the effect there. So if I decide to illuminate this, awesome, I have that capability. If I decide not to, awesome, it makes no difference either way. So in preparation for this, I did come along and punch a hole through the foam and then through the underside of here. And you'll notice that the wiring for the track is just taped under here to get it out of the way. But I will say that is one of the reasons why I built my bases with this space underneath, so you have room to run your wires and stick any of their electronic doodads of limited clearance under there. So let's work on kind of just getting this installed in here, and we'll go from there. Now the most annoying part, I will say, is trying to feed the wires through. Some people like to take a piece of a drinking straw and stick it in there. Probably not a bad idea. I don't really see the need in this application though, so I didn't. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for the structure. Putting it on an angle helps to kind of break the scene up so you can see the detail on that side. And whoops, there we go. You can kind of see it better there as well. It definitely would work to have a couple of people, or at least like 1 or 2 people standing out in front, maybe a couple of tools leaned up against it. Little things like that. It's honestly the little things in a scene that really bring the scene to life, if you will, in my opinion. I'm hoping when I go down to Actually, I might even have a figure I could use of someone shoveling we can put here in the scene. But before I grab that, let me work on getting this guy glued down because it's going to take a while for the glue to dry. And then we can work on other things. All right, so to secure the building down, I think I'm ultimately just going to use a drop or two of super glue on here. I'm not going to use a ton, just in case I decide to pull the building off at a later time and date. I will say these bottles that you can get at like Tap Plastics and other places that are designed for things like really thin cement that you use on acrylic work amazing with super glue kicker. So that's on there. That's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I dug around in my actually very pitiful stash of figures. I happened to find this guy giving a highball. He definitely could work in this scene. And also where I'm placing the figures might not be their actual final location. I also have this little worker figure right here who I think I'll actually use him in front of the blacksmith shop on the main layout. I think he more fits the vibe over there. And then he doesn't have his shovel in his hand, but I also have this figure here with said shovel right here that I'm going to attempt to glue on without making a mess. But he definitely fits into the scene nicely as someone who is working, which is what we need. And the next time I'm down visiting my family, if I have time to visit the train store down in LA, I will see if I can't get a few more figures. I will definitely say figures are one of the things that I always feel like I'm lacking in when it comes to my layouts, especially a micro layout, because any detail or lack thereof of detail becomes very obvious very quickly. And I figure having a few people really can make or break a scene, if you will. I do think I'm also going to install a highball guy. It brings something to the scene. So already, with those two figures in there, it feels like it's gone from just a bland, boring scene to now we have the guy shoveling, we have the guy giving our highball, so we're good to go. I'm already loving this. And obviously, once I get the crane installed in here, once I get the crane installed in here, I feel like that'll really help to tie the scene together, if you will. Then it will start to make more sense. So obviously this is a bit of a shorter video, but I will close it out with a couple of close-up shots inside my tiny little photo booth. And I hope you guys enjoyed this mini update. Obviously, I'm slightly limited on the amount of stuff that I have, but I figure hopefully it gives you a good starting point when it comes to how to fit up a scene like this. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you here next time on Make It With Calvin.